What's up guys, Zeroed again, back with another video. Now I usually bring you guys content from the road, trucking gear, trucking life, all that good stuff. But when I'm off the clock, I'm at home, I'm also relying on the best tools to keep everything running smoothly there. And one of those tools that I'm gonna show you guys today is the Etenwolf Vortex S6 air compressor. This is a great tool that every driver of a personal vehicle and every DIY type person needs to have in their toolkit. And I'm going to show you why today. Let's get to it. Now, starting things off, let's see what we have inside of the box. It's a sturdy package, it's pretty thick cardboard, so you don't have to worry about this thing getting damaged if you order it. In transit, it should be fine, but it comes within its own carrying case, which I love because this is a portable air compressor. So we have the unit that's inside and also have a user's manual. Always make sure you read those, folks. Usually works out much better than just trying to wing it with tools, especially tools that have a lot of features. You'll get the best user experience reading how the product works and the best way to utilize it. We have that, and it looks like right off top we have the charger for the units. We have an air chuck. That'll be good for car tires or truck tires, whatever you may use that for. We have the charger brick for the charger cable. Let's go ahead and remove that. And here we have the unit itself. Then starting off right off there, I see there's some attachments. So these would be some attachments for the air hose. And that looks like that would be for your sports balls, basketball, football, whatever you may use. And this is an extension attachment. Looks like we have one air hose. And I'll describe what this one is for in a bit. We have a secondary air hose, and I will explain what this one is for as well. Start feature, start and pause to start the unit. And it probably looks like that's skimming up. It looks like it's glitching out for you guys, but that's just the frame rate for the camera. So this is one solid color here, and it'll probably show up better later on in the video, but trust me, that's not actually blinking in real life. And we have the mode button where we can switch between inflation modes. We have the unit number where you can switch between units of measurements, PSI, BAR, KAR, I believe. That could be wrong, but the different units. So this can work in imperial or metric. And looks like we have another feature here that I'll get to a little bit later on. So let's go ahead and take a further, deeper look at what these actual pieces do. But I'm impressed with the unit overall. This feels very sturdy. It doesn't feel cheaply made. It feels like it's got some weight to it. So I'm off to a good start with it, in my opinion. All right, something that I missed, and I still had the unit turned on. Actually, let me go ahead and turn that off so you guys aren't distracted by that frame rate jumping on the dial there. But I took a further look inside the carrying case, and I found a couple other things I wanted to show you guys about that. I mean, this right here is the quick user guide of how to utilize this tool, or one of the ways. It doesn't go through everything on this small card. You need to look at the user guide to see the in-depth information, but it comes with this calibration certificate. So looks like at the factory where this unit was produced, they actually have the signature of the person that passed it in the factory, showing that this thing is up to the standard that the company set. So I mean, there's actually there's a real signature on there. It's not something that's printed on the cardboard. You got the printing right here, and then the actual name that's written in pen right there, or the signature I should say. So that's an authentic unit, so that leads me to believe that this should be very high quality. If they're going through and having somebody in detail check every unit and have to sign off on it right there. So these aren't something that's just necessarily mass produced without some care going behind it to stand behind the company name and the quality. So I like that, and let's see if the unit actually follows through with that quality. Now, the main feature that I'm going to start off with the Etenwolf Vortex S6 is the high volume hose. And that was the first one that I showed you guys. That's this one right here, this attachment. And I like this one. This would be useful if you need to fill, actually let me take the whole thing off. This is the high pressure here, high volume hose, I should say. This is the high volume hose. So if you need to fill something with a lot of air quickly, this is what you would use this attachment for. And I'm actually going to use a hair washing basin for that, a rubber hair washing basin. This would also be very good for an air mattress, but obviously you guys can see I'm outside. I'm not gonna have an air mattress out here. This would be something that's inside my home. You know, if you have a guest and they need to crash at your place for a little while, it would be very good to use this unit to inflate that. It would be very easy. And I'm gonna give you guys an example. And to utilize this portion of the tool, you would take the high volume hose and connect it here in the sides. Now there are two different ones. One of them, the bottom one, would be to inflate whatever it is you're trying to fill. So you take that in there, fill it all to the side, and then you twist it to lock it in. There you go. And the top one here is actually to deflate. You can see INF at the bottom, inflate, DEF to deflate. So you can fill it up and then suck the air out and empty it once the item that you're trying to have inflated is no longer needed. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys an example. I'm gonna get in front of the camera here and show you guys how this will work. Okay, before I show you guys the example of me inflating this hair washing basin, I'll show you how to get the unit into the high air inflation mode. So you want to go ahead and set it, because this has multiple different settings where you can tailor the amount of air and the amount of pressure that you need for whatever you're trying to inflate. You need to go ahead and go to the mode button on the side, and forgive the frame rate. It's probably jumping around for you guys a little bit from how you guys are seeing it, but for me, it's all stable. It's not jarbled around, making it look like it's blinking. So I want to take it and put it into high inflation / deflation mode. And you want to go ahead and take it to the option that looks like a gust of wind blowing on the center of the dial here. And now with it hooked here, all I need to do is press the start pause button, and the unit will go ahead and activate. And I'm going to show you guys how quickly I can inflate this basin here from completely deflated to completely inflated in real time. Now, all I need to do is hit the start button because it's ready to go, and hopefully I can get the entire unit in frame. Let me stand back here a little bit. There we go. As you can see, it's already inflating it pretty quickly. It's only been about 10 seconds or so. Perfect. And that was pretty quick. I mean, that was actually more air than I probably needed to put in it. This thing is like pumped up, but that was very, very quick. And the unit's not very noisy. It's not super noisy. Yeah, that's stable. I like that. Now, this would make an air mattress inflation very, very quick. Anybody who's ever had to sleep on an air mattress themselves knows how much time that can take if you don't have one that already comes with an air compressor to pump something like that up. But let me show you guys on the opposite end, deflating this. Now, all I need to do is just change the part of the Etenwolf Vortex S6 where the high volume hose is connected. Right now, I showed you guys earlier that it was in the inflation section at the bottom. Now I want to go ahead and take it and put it into the deflation so we can go ahead and suck this air out of this pump. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's see how fast this goes. And of course, with something like this, you could also press down on it if you want to try to squeeze the air out of it faster, but you don't really need that. You can see how quickly it's already deflating. Very, very quick. It's actually deflating than it inflated it. There you go. And that makes using something like this hair washing basin or an air mattress it makes the cleanup for that very quick. You know, it's very easy. You can go ahead and fold it up, pack it up, put it away versus having to sit there for, you know, minutes upon minutes upon minutes waiting for something to inflate or deflate, you know, wasting your own time, getting bored, getting sore sitting in one spot for too long. So it's really good. I can see this being very useful for guests if I have them coming to visit me, you know, sleeping on an air mattress or something like that. But let's move on to some of the other features. Let's talk about the high pressure hose here. And I have a few different things that I want to use as examples to test this out. We'll go more in depth with the other features of the types of air inflation that you can utilize this tool for. But let's go ahead and move on to that. First up, a basketball. So the way that this works is you want to go ahead and select the sports ball mode on the air compressor. You want to hit the mode button here on the side. I've already pre-selected the sports ball icon. It looks like a basketball. And after that, you want to make sure that you have the needle attachment connected to the compressor hose. That is this attachment right here. And all you need to do, well, before that, this ball has a recommended PSI of 7 or 9. I set it to 9. I want maximum inflation on this, and also for the sake of this demonstration. So you can turn the dial here, and I already had it preset to 9, so just moving it here so you guys can see that. Let's go back down to 9 pounds even. So then we'll just go ahead and insert the needle into the correct position on the basketball, turn on the air compressor, and watch this thing go. Now, this way this air compressor works, and the beauty of it, once you have it set to your desired PSI, it will inflate whatever it is that you are using to that PSI level, and then it will automatically turn itself off. And I will show you guys that in real time. As you can see, this ball is flat for all intents and purposes. So let's go ahead and kick it on. And as you can see, it's inflating itself very, very quickly, trying to roll away from us. And once it gets to a high enough PSI, you will be able to see on the dial here, right there, it'll go all the way up to the 9 PSI. It's at 2.7, 3 PSI, 3.5, 4. As you can see, it's filling this ball very, very quickly. And it's automatically going to shut itself off when it gets to 9. 9 pounds flat, exactly what I set it to. Flat. Perfect. That's awesome. Next up, my mountain bike, specifically the tire in the rear there. Now, the tire on this mountain bike is completely flat. As you can see, there's a whole lot of play here. The inner tube within the tire has no air in it whatsoever. I could pull it right off the rim if I really wanted to. Now, if I did not have the convenience that the Etenwolf air compressor provides, I would be stuck using what I've got. And all I've got is this manual air pump right here. Now, this air pump is specifically for sports balls, so it will be better suited to that basketball that I just showed you guys. I'm limited with this because the air pressure in this one is only rated up to 20 PSI. My mountain bike tire requires 35 PSI. So if I were stuck using that manual air pump, I would get some feedback once I got around that 20 PSI level, where the air that's in the tire is kind of pushing back against what the air pump, manual air pump, is capable of doing. And it would be a hassle. I wouldn't be able to get this tire inflated to the level that is required to give me a safe and stable, comfortable ride on this bike. But the Etenwolf solves that problem for me. To use this, very similar to what we would do with a basketball, just we need to turn on the unit and set it to bicycle mode, which I already have preset. And then you want to use the dial to set it to the level that you need, and I need 35 pounds even. So you also want to connect the tire air chuck, this one right here. And then you want to go ahead
And I'm gonna need to hold this bike up for the demonstration because it does not have a kickstand on it. So let me go ahead and connect the air chuck like so. Stand it up here, and I'll show you guys how this is gonna look up close. Okay, we have the air compressor connected. Now we'll go ahead and turn on the unit. As you can see, I have the 35 PSI preset. I have the bicycle mode selected, and that tire is completely on the ground, flat as a flounder. So let's go ahead and turn it on and watch how quickly it inflates this tire. 10 PSI, you can really see that it took off right there, came off the ground. 20 PSI, 30. And as it gets close to that 35, it's gonna slow down. Right at 34.2, it's slowing down a bit. 35, stops right there exactly, 35 PSI, as you can see. Now, that tire, let's disconnect that air chuck. And the tire went from flat as a flounder to hard as a rock now. That is awesome, perfect, and exactly what I need. This is a game changer for cyclists for sure. Now, let's put the Etenwolf air compressor to a real test. In front of me, I have a car that has a 215/55 R16 tire. Now, I like to keep all of my tires properly inflated. I pre-trip my personal vehicle the same way that I would pre-trip the semi-trucks that I drive. Now, I may not pre-trip my personal car every single day. In fact, I tell you, I definitely don't. More like once or twice a month. But with that, having proper tire inflation is of the utmost importance because I want good fuel economy in my vehicle because I'm the one fronting the bill for all the fuel. So I want to save every penny that I possibly can and have a safe ride, safe, comfortable ride in my vehicle. Now, you know that the Etenwolf air compressor also works as a pressure gauge. You already saw that with the basketball and my bicycle. It will show you on the dial what the actual air pressure is that you want, what you've set, and what the actual air pressure is as it currently reads while it is attached to the pressure nozzle. So I have let out some of the air from this tire. It was at 33 because I like to keep my tires a little bit higher than the recommended level, like a pound higher, a pound or two. So I let out like 10 pounds. For the sake of this demonstration, let's go ahead and put it on and I'll show you guys. Let's go ahead and actually, I'm gonna put it on first. So put it on, seal it, and let's turn on the air compressor and we can see what we got. I have it set for 35. I'm gonna lower that. And as you can see here, it is actually reading at 20. So I'm going to reduce the setting to 33 even. And we're going to need to set the mode to car mode. It's currently on bicycle. There we go. It's set to car mode. Let's go ahead and demonstrate what this air compressor can do on a car. All right, so with a more up close look at the dial, you can see that I have my air rating set for 33 pounds of pressure, but the pressure that is currently in the tire is 20.1. And of course, we have it set to car mode specifically. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick on the air compressor and show you guys how quickly it can add that 13 PSI to this tire and get me back up and running the way that I want to be. 25, 28, and I can see the tire filling up with air. It's expanding. There we go. 33.5, and it'll taper off just a little bit, maybe a give or take just a bit, but that's filled up exactly the way that I need it. And that is awesome. I mean, this air compressor from Etenwolf outperforms all of the previous air compressors that I've ever used. I mean, I'm very impressed with how this is so versatile. And, you know, it does a few other things that I want to espouse on. We'll go ahead, but this right here is very, very significant for me. So whether you are utilizing a personal vehicle like this, or if you have a recreational vehicle, if you like to go off-roading in a Jeep, or, you know, any kind of vehicle that has very large tires that need to be inflated, or if you have an RV, you know, this air compressor can help you take care of all of those things. But let me go ahead and show you something else that I think is very, very, very important about this tool. I think that the Etenwolf Vortex S6 inflator air compressor is amazing, not just because of how well it can handle inflating tires or sports balls or things of that nature. It's because in the scenario that I just showed you, I had a light source, but what if I didn't? The Etenwolf can help you there as well. Now, imagine we're in a scenario where we need to change a tire like this, and it's nighttime, as you all can clearly see. What if I'm stranded on the side of the road and I can't see? I don't have an alternate light source of any kind. I can't use the lights in my vehicle because they're in the front of the car. What if there are no street lights? What if there are no lights on the side of the highway? I can't see anything, but I need to deal with this tire. I can't really see where the nozzle is. I can feel around with my hands, but that's inefficient. And when you're stranded on the side of the road at nighttime, you don't want to be at risk. You don't want to potentially have something happen to you, being struck by another vehicle. You want people to be able to see that you're there. What if you were in a situation like that? I can tell you the Etenwolf Vortex S6 tire inflator has a light on it as well. Now you can see. Now, this inflator has 4 built-in LED light modes. The first one that you're looking at right here is 300 lumens. Now, if you press the light button, we can change that and upgrade to 1,000 lumens. Much easier to see. Now, I told you want to be visible. What if you're trying to signal someone, you know, to let them know that you are working on your vehicle on the side of the road, or you're just trying to get attention for help of some sort? Hit the button again. We've got a strobe flash. And if it's some kind of emergency, you need help, you want to use something else, we have an SOS. I mean, this light here, the entire tool set, is very, very good if you are somebody that wants to be ready for a multitude of scenarios. If you're a prepper, if you will, somebody like myself, I like having all the best tools that are going to give me an advantage in any scenario that I may find myself in. Now, this is something that I would keep in my car under pretty much any circumstance. The EDC, I would keep it in my trunk. And there's something else that goes along with that that would make this an even better prepper tool. I'll show you what it is. Now, how else could the Etenwolf Vortex S6 be any more useful? Well, let's imagine ourselves in the said scenario where we were just able to inflate our flat car tires. We were able to use the light on the Etenwolf to make ourselves visible or to try to signal for help. Now, imagine you've taken care of all of that. You get back into your car to try to leave and your car does not start. How could things be any worse? Let me tell you. How about all of that going on? And then when you get ready to try to call for help for a jump, you realize your phone is about to die. Well, the Etenwolf S6 can help you with that as well. On the back of the unit, it has a charger port for a USB-C and a USB-A. Now, this charger port is used to charge the unit itself, but it can also be used to charge your cell phone. If you have your charger, just connect that to the back of the unit for whichever charger type you have, USB-C or USB-A. And to get your phone to start charging, you just need to turn on the unit. So you would press the start button here. You don't need to turn on the air compressor, but you just need to activate the unit so the electricity is booted up. And from there, your phone will begin charging. And with the battery that this unit possesses, it'll be able to charge your phone to full capacity, no problem, multiple times over. Now, aside from that, like I said, this thing is great for people who are prepper minded and are interested in EDC or everyday carry. Like I said, I would carry this every single day in the trunk of my car for the purposes that I previously presented. But another use that I would see for this unit is if I had a power outage in my home and I'm not able to charge my phone in the house, or if I'm gone, if Mrs. Erudite needs to charge her phone in emergency to let me know something's going on, she can't do it in the home because the electricity in the neighborhood may be out. The Etenwolf will be the savior for that. Charging your phone or a tablet of any type, you can do that with this. Multiple uses for multiple problems, multiple solutions. The Etenwolf Vortex S6, it gets a thumbs up from me on that. I love tools that can solve multiple issues that fit multiple scenarios. I mean, I live for this kind of stuff, guys. It's great.
Now, I've given you guys a handful of different tests about the inflation and deflation capabilities of this tool, but to give you some specifics about it, you know, the Vortex S6, it's capable of delivering 42 liters per minute of airflow. You know, before I was just showing you guys everything, but that's really fast. So it's capable of inflating a 31-inch truck tire from 30 PSI to 35 PSI in just 1 minute. And I know I showed you on my vehicle what it was like, and I just wanted to do one tire just for the sake of saving you all time without having you guys watch me, you know, do that. Plus, I wasn't gonna deflate my tire completely, you know, just because, you know, like I said, the time issue. But, you know, I was impressed with the speed of it. And I glanced over talking about the battery before I mentioned it, but the capacity of this battery is very large. They actually use a 19,200 milliampere hour lithium battery. So that gives it a lot of strength, you know, specifically at full charge, which you see mine's at 3 bars right now, but at full charge, that's capable of filling 18 full-size pickup truck tires on 1 charge. So that's a lot. I mean, I don't know anybody who's gonna have 18 tires that are completely deflated that need, you know, that much energy and that much juice. So this thing is always gonna be able to, you know, inflate whatever you need to have done. You know, even if it has like just half charge or partial charge, I mean, that's a lot of energy. 18 full-size truck tires, that's a lot. So I'm confident, you know, this will be able to satisfy all of my needs. You know, I recommend it. Now, with that large battery size and the capacity to inflate so many tires by itself on a single charge, you would think that you might run into issues with this thing overheating, but really not so much, because they have a 100% duty cycle with dual cylinder battery here and with a cooling system. So it cools itself off, or keeps itself cool, and it will not cut off on you, or at least it will be very unlikely to under standard use. So, I mean, that's just another reason why I think this tool is really great. You know, that would be the last thing that I would want to experience, is like you get out your emergency tool to help you. And, you know, say in that situation like I told you guys about with me broken down on the side of the road or something like that, and your tool that you use to bail yourself out dies on you as well. So, like, cannot have anything like that. So, you know, with the large battery and then the system to keep the battery cool, to keep the unit working the entire time while you need it, you know, definitely gets a huge thumbs up from me. It's something that you can rely on when you really need it, or if you're just using it as a, you know, a recreational tool, like I said, to inflate, you know, some off-road tires or something like that, or ride your bike. Any of the examples that I showed you previously, you know, I have a lot of faith in this thing. This is a very nice tool. I like it a lot. I can't wait to use it a lot more, actually. I could definitely see this pumping this up for Mrs. Erudite and I to go on our bike rides, or for the sports balls for the kids or something like that, you know. Aside from my EDC uses of this kind of thing, you know, I'm really into this kind of stuff, these kind of tools, man. I love this kind of stuff. But gets a thumbs up from Erudite, a long-winded thumbs up. Well, that about does it, guys. If you are interested in being prepared, whether that is for sports, cycling, off-roading, or emergencies, anything of that nature, the Etenwolf Vortex S6 is definitely the tool for you. I will leave an Amazon link in the bottom description here, and I may pin it in the comments as well, to where you can purchase this tool for yourselves. And if you have any uses for this tool that I have not already gone over in this video, I'd be interested in hearing about it. Go ahead and list that down in the comment section below. If this review has helped you and you would like to see more reviews like this for other tools, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I drop other videos of this nature, and you will be the first ones to watch it. But until the next time, I appreciate you all watching. As always, I'll see you all further down the road. Erudite out.